Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with a brand new early movie review, and today we're discussing a new A24 epic fantasy like no other by the name of The Green Knight, which I got a chance to check out early in theaters courtesy of A24, and I am so excited to let you all know what I thought about this film and let you know if it's worth checking out all in this spoiler-free review. Before we break it all down, do me a favor and make sure you're checking me out on all my other social media accounts. If you're new to the channel, well, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. That way you can get the alert for when I drop new content. If you all enjoyed this review of The Green Knight, well, make sure to like and share this video. It helps out the channel a lot, but I also appreciate the support. And in the comments, let's talk about The Green Knight. Let me know your excitement level, your anticipation for this film. If you saw the film, was it in theaters, and once you've seen it, let's talk about it. I want to know your thoughts on the characters, the narrative, the themes, the production, the direction. What was your favorite part? What was your favorite part of the journey? Were you disappointed by the film? Did it not live up to your expectations? Let's discuss it in the comments. But also, I just want to know, do you all say A24 or A24? Big debate. Let's discuss it in the comments. But no, in all seriousness, guys, going into this film, I remember seeing this trailer last year. I remember seeing the posters last year, and that was all I needed. I have not seen any of the most recent updated final trailers, final teasers, TV spots. I've avoided all that because A24 to me is like going into A24 to me, the excitement level is going into like Marvel, DC, Star Wars. I always expect the unexpected. So with all that being said, did it live up to my expectations? Let's start off with my positives. First thing, walking out of the theaters, I can confidently say this without hesitation. This is the best looking movie I've seen in 2021 so far. And I've seen some really well put together films, but I want to start with the cinematographer of this film, Andrew Droz, Palermo, who's worked with the director before and has a great filmography. I have to give kudos to his crew, the lighting department. They deserve all the praise in the world because seriously, guys, the use of color in this film and throughout the film was masterful. It felt so tangible. Everything from the greens, the blues, the yellows, the oranges. I mean, everything just felt so luscious and it felt so lived in. And that was something I really appreciated about this film. Going and speaking more into the production, the sets, it felt like we were there. It wasn't CGI. It felt like this has to be, I haven't looked up the budget, but I'm pretty confident in saying this has to be one of the most highest productions of an A24 film I've seen, and I've never seen a A24 film like this. It felt so lived in and it felt so realistic and grounded in reality. Going back to the production of this film, the lighting is seriously some of the best lighting, the use of lights I've ever seen in a movie. There were some really dark scenes in this film, but yet it felt bright and felt luscious based on how they put all the scenes together. I mean, it was literally some of the best lighting I've seen in a very long time. Speaking of more production aspects, I was just blown away by the production of this film. The composer of this film, Daniel Hart's score, is definitely one of my favorite scores of this year so far. It's up there with Natalie Holt's low-key score. It's up there with Nicholas Patel's The Underground Railroad score. This is one of my favorite scores so far this year. It is haunting and beautiful all at the same time. But I gotta talk about the captain of this ship, and I'm talking about the director here, David Lowery, who is someone I'm a fan of. I like his filmography. I know a lot of people talk about The Ghost Story. I enjoyed the making of the movie and how it looked. I wasn't the biggest fan of like the narrative, but I can appreciate the filmmaking of that film. But I think what David does in this movie, this is his best piece of art so far. Him telling this narrative, which is based upon Sir Gawain's and the Green Knight by the anonymous author. The way that he tackles this story and the way that he builds on the Arthur lore and the legend of Arthur, which in my experience, it's swords, it's action, it's drama, it's all the different things we come to expect in kind of an action, fantasy, adventure tale, which the film has adventure and it has, you know, a very great fantasy element to it. But to me, the thing that I took away from this particular story of this Arthurian legend, it's about the poetry, it's about the emotions, it's about the nightmarish journey that we see our main character go on that just had me in complete awe. And kind of speaking on the story without spoiling the story, because again, expect the unexpected. I don't want to give too much away from what you all have seen from the trailers, but it's the themes and it's the metaphors that I found throughout this film that kept me truly engaged for the 2-hour runtime. The themes of fear, honor, betrayal, one's quest to finding nobility, one's wanting to help ones in need, the lust, as well as just a couple others, trust. And there's a lot of other metaphors and themes throughout this film, but I want to let you all kind of discover that for yourself. But there's a lot that I took away from this film. And speaking of the journey that our main character goes on is one of the weirdest, most interesting, most shocking, most unpredictable, uncomfortable. Is it real? Is it fake? I feel like I was on acid watching some of these scenes. It's seriously, there are moments in this film that I just thought I was in a fever dream, and seeing the scenes with Gawain's quest was just like incredibly well put together and had me on the edge of my seat. Each interaction, each destination that he found himself on, it built off the last one, and it seemed to get bigger in scale and scope, and it just was so unique, and it was just so well put together. And I gotta go to this cast briefly, talking about some of these incredible, this cast is incredible, and some characters only have one or two scenes, but they made their presence felt. I think of Joel Edgerton. I think of Sean Harris, Kate Dickey, Barry Keoghan. I think of Aaron Elliman. The cast is incredible. They know their characters. They felt lived in. They felt real. They felt majestic. They felt, heroes and villains. This is a very interesting cast. And I got to, before I go to the main man, Alicia Vikander, who one of my first A24 films was Ex Machina, and she is just kind of that icing on the cake in this film. She was really great in this film. Her chemistry with, let me just transition to the lead of this film, Dev Patel, who I've been a fan of since seeing him in Slumdog Millionaire and just seeing where his career has kind of led him to this point. This might be my favorite performance of an already impressive career. His journey, the way that he embodies the character, there is a lot of stuff that is done without dialogue. And there is some great dialogue. Again, this is poetry. This is art when you hear these characters speak, especially our main character speak. But it's in Dev's performance, that's in his way that he carries himself, the way that he has this lust and desire for honor and to be a knight, but it's also in the eyes. As I always say with performances, some of my favorite performances is not necessarily what the characters are saying, it's how they say it, but also it's in the eyes. It's in the eyes are the window to the soul, right? And it's in the way that Dev interacts with these different characters, these, like I said, bigger than life characters, these mystical, magical characters in some parts of this film that was just completely incredible, the way he brought this character to life. And the film, to me, as far as just kind of going back to the story, it gets better with each chapter that we get introduced to. And I thought that the setup was very intriguing. I thought that the second half of the film, which is mostly the journey, was just like some of the most like undescribable journey I've ever seen, and is very unique and very ambitious. And when it comes to that third act, I think it is going to be polarizing. I think some people won't be the biggest fan of how the film ends, but for me, it is so beautifully told. And I think that ending left me completely satisfied. So going into, I can go on and on about my pros, but I want to transition to my criticisms here. I don't have many, and I'm kind of just thinking in my head. One of the things about this film, without getting too much into it, there is this interaction between our main character and he meets the Green Knight, and there's this timeline of a year between when they first meet and to catching back up to a year later. At first, I wanted to kind of sit within that year, at least kind of visit some scenes of what he went through to become this person that we see in the film. But actually, the more I think about the film, I'm glad that we didn't waste time in seeing that year between when he first meets the Green Knight and when he goes on this quest. So actually, it was first a con when I was watching it, but the more I thought about it on my ride home, I actually prefer that they did not give us that year worth of character, not necessarily character development, but just kind of wasting time with that, because I feel like the film did a good job of giving us who this character is on his journey to meeting the Green Knight for the second time. And selfishly, I wanted more scenes with Dev, and there's a particular fox in this film that I wished would have had more time together. So honestly, that's not a lot of criticisms, ladies and gentlemen. So before I give you all my overall thoughts, my score, if you haven't already, make sure to like, share, comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Overall, I'm still wrapping my head around what I just saw, all pun intended there. When you see the film, you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the head. But all around, guys, this was a beautiful tale. The production was masterful. The cinematography, the score, the hair, the makeup, the direction, Dev's performance. He is no doubt a superstar, but this is one of his best performances of his career. His performance was amazing. This tale of honor, legacy, fear is told in such a beautifully but nightmarish, unpredictable way, and that to me makes it a must-see film of this year. I'm going to give The Green Knight a 5 out of 5. I'm gonna say it now. Film won't be for everyone. The narrative won't be for everyone. The pacing won't be for everyone. But it was for me, and that is why I'm giving this nightmarish journey a incredible 5 out of 5. This is a masterful film, guys. I cannot recommend you see this enough in theaters. If you're safe and if you're comfortable going to the theaters, this is a must-see movie of 2021, and it is my favorite film so far this year. But that's just my thoughts. I want to know what you all thought about it once you've seen the film. Your pros, your cons, your thoughts on the performances, the direction, the cinematography, the score, your negatives. What did you not like about the film? Was it disappointing to you? Were you completely not engrossed in this story? Let's discuss it all in the comments. And again, do you say A24 or A24? Let's discuss it all in the comment section. If you stuck around to the end of this video, I appreciate every single one of you. Again, just a friendly reminder, if you enjoyed this review, like the video, share the video, leave your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell. That way you don't miss any of my other content. Hope you all are staying safe. Hope you enjoyed this review, and we'll see you in the next video.